being single and how I deal with it and how other people deal with it. I want to kind of change this channel up a little bit and talk about more personal stuff. I'm first just going to read something that I wrote, and a lot of these videos are going to be, God-based, because without God, I don't know how I would get through the day. So I'm going to be doing this. And I'm going to be reading something I wrote. And I said, God, I want to be married. I want to find a man that loves and honors you and puts you first. I know they say you find a man like your dad. And Jesus, you're my dad. The one that's shown me you are always there. And you help me believe that I am beautiful. You help me know that I am loved. I know that a man like you is hard to find, but I truly believe that he is out there somewhere. I don't know when I'm going to meet him, but I feel like it's sometime soon. I know he will be a man that will think every part of me is beautiful and there is no flaw. I know he will be a man that will constantly love me and put me, you, and future kids first. I know he will be a man that will help me grow more in my faith, and I know he will be a caring man. A man that is after your heart. I know he will never say nothing to hurt me, and I know he will be a man that I can always talk to about you. I know that this man has to be out there for me. I know he is. I hope and pray. I wrote that because when I have no one to talk to, or I just don't feel comfortable talking to other people about what I go through, I just write it out because I feel like it helps me cope with it. And I've been single ever since I was born, unless you want to count elementary school, when I had a boyfriend for like a week and then I broke up with him. But I have learned to be okay with it. Yeah, there's some days where I see a couple and I'm like, dang, like, why can't I have that? Why can't I be in a relationship? And I get really down about it, and I do start crying, and sometimes I just break down because I'm like, I'm never going to find anyone. No one is ever going to love me for me. And no one's going to think I'm beautiful. No one's going to look at me and be like, dang, my girl, she's great. Like, I get so down about it sometimes. And in the beginning of the year, I'd always say, I'm ready for a relationship. I'm ready for this. I got this. Like, I'm ready. And one time, I was actually talking to one of my friends, and we were just talking about the same thing, and at this moment, I just realized I'm not ready. And what I realized was I was just talking to her, and this just spilled out of my mouth out of nowhere. And I said to her that I realized that I'm not ready for a relationship, because if I can't trust God, then what makes me think that I'm ready for a relationship? Then if I can't trust God, then how am I supposed to trust my future boyfriend, my future spouse? Like, how am I supposed to trust him? And I don't know, I just realized at that moment that my trust in God needs to grow so much more before I can be in a relationship. And I also realized that in order for me to be in a relationship, I have to know how to be fine without one. I can't rely on a relationship to make me happy. And yes, I am a very happy person. I'm fine with being single, but there are those times where I just get really down about it, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like in order to be in a relationship, you have to know how to be fine by yourself. And sometimes I'm like, okay, God, I'm ready. Like, I'm fine by myself. I don't need someone to make me happy, but I'm ready for this. I want to get married at 25. Come on, God, I'm 20. I'm about to be 20, um, so sometimes it's just like, okay, God, what are you doing? Where's he at? And I don't know. Sometimes I just want to break down and cry because it's like no one's ever gonna love me, you know. And then I realize, but wait, someone does love me, and this sounds really corny and cheesy, but someone does love me, and that is my Savior, and that is God. And when I wrote that letter to him, um, it was almost like, yeah, like I may not have a boyfriend right now, or I may not be getting engaged like everyone is on my Facebook, but I realize like all I need right now like is God, and he will do the rest, and he knows what he's doing. Although I can't control it or control the situations that are happening in my life, I can't make a guy like me. I can't do that. I realize that the only one I need is God, and if he wants to supply me, is that a word, with a husband or boyfriend and a husband, then that's great, and that will be awesome. But I feel like you also have to realize like that you do have God, and that God is all you need. And I actually wrote this too, so I'm gonna read it, and I will end this video. I wrote, but also God, if you don't have a guy for me, and if you want me to be single for the rest of my life, I think I can handle that. Because in the end, you're all I need. And I wrote that, and I just started bawling. Because it was at that moment that I realized that I don't need a guy. I don't need to be consumed with the thought of having a guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, at that moment, I realized that even if God doesn't give me a husband, even if God doesn't give me a boyfriend, yeah, I'm going to be heartbroken because that is all I've ever wanted. Ever since I was little, I've always wanted to get married and have a family. I will be devastated. But I realized that God is all I need. I don't need a guy. I don't need a boyfriend. I don't need a family. I don't like need to make my own family. Like, in the end, all we have is God. And we can't rely on other people, a boy or something, to make us happy. But the only person who can really bring joy to our hearts is God. I'm not saying that, oh, if you realize God's all you need, or if you be happy for others, or all this stuff, like you're gonna be in a relationship. I'm not saying that because I do that all the time and I'm still single. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I feel like you have to know how to be by yourself. You have to know how to not rely on others to make you happy. You have to rely on God, and you have to know how to trust God. And you have to realize that you can't have control over everything. Like, I always want to have control over everything. It's on His timing. Personally, I just think if you're a believer of God, then you should just have faith and trust in God's perfect timing, and just be happy for people around you who are in a relationship, and just be patient and wait for God's perfect timing, and He'll send you someone amazing, someone above and beyond your dreams. So, I hope this video helps today.